July 27th presented another chase day to the upper Midwest, specifically Minnesota. The SPC outlined a slight risk covering much of the state and a section of eastern South Dakota. Included in the slight risk was a 5% hatch risk for tornadoes from about Wilmer through Lake Superior. Based on models, my thought was to get somewhere between St. Cloud and Lake Mille Lacs by mid-afternoon. The day was looking promising as early convection cleared northern Minnesota by mid-afternoon and left clearing skies with temps pushing 90 and dew points in the 70s. Storm juice. And this is where things started to get a little sideways. A huge supercell formed near the South Dakota and Minnesota border at lunchtime and moved down the Minnesota River Valley in the general direction of the Southwest Metro. Models showed this storm's falling apart by the time it reached the Metro, but often models don't handle convection like this well, so out the door I went. And wouldn't you know, the models handled this storm perfectly. By the time it reached Carver, it was nothing but a few raindrops that left dirt blotches on the car. But clearing skies behind it meant the atmosphere could recover and temps shot from the 70s back up to near 90. While all this was happening, the SPC issued a midday upgrade to enhanced for much of southern Minnesota, extending back into South Dakota. They also extended the 5% tornado risk back into South Dakota as a boundary set up across Minnesota. The enhanced risk was primarily issued for wind, as any storms that formed had the potential to form a MCS and race through southern Minnesota, northern Iowa, and southern Wisconsin. The first couple hours of storm development would be the best chance at discrete supercells and tornadoes. I punched Montevideo, Minnesota into the GPS and started the 2-hour drive out west. During my drive out Highway 212, a storm bubbled up near Watertown, South Dakota, and storms had fired north near Fargo, North Dakota, and extended out into northwestern Minnesota. These northern storms would eventually start dropping southeast, and I could see the tail end of the severe warn line. The Watertown storm also went nuts and quickly became severe warned and then tornado warned. I was just passing through Montevideo and still had about an hour to go to get to Watertown. All I could do was keep blasting west. I'm sneaking through the West Metro on 494 right now, just going through Bloomington, Eden Prairie area. And the clouds you can see out in front are actually the anvil of a gigantic supercell that went up about 2 hours ago on the Minnesota-South Dakota border. And that is the storm I'm going to get in front of right now. I got Gaylord, Minnesota off at south of 212 punched in.
There's a 5-minute slowdown.
But once we get west of the metro here, we'll just see what the storm does and where we need to get. All right, so this is what's left of the big supercell that formed out in western Minnesota. You even get a little sprinkles in the sun here. But you can see behind it, it's clear skies, so we should be able to get that instability to build back in. And I'm heading for Montevideo, Minnesota. 19Z models are showing supercells should erupt there sometime between 5 and 7. So I'm going to take full advantage of these remaining long days here in July and see if we can't see something cool. All right, this is one of my favorite intersections in storm chasing. It's really nondescript, but as 212 heading west out of the metro turns into one lane right here, to me this signals I am out in the country, I am on a storm chase and out of the city. So just a weird little intersection, but I love it. Every time I go through there, I am probably going storm chasing. And there's that blue sky. Hopefully we start seeing some towers go up in the next hour or two. All right, welcome to Madison, Minnesota. My second time here in exactly a month. I was here on June 28th for the Gary, South Dakota tornado. Every town got a grain bin out here, grain elevator. I love it in western Minnesota. So we are storm chasing. We have a cell over by Watertown, which is about an hour straight west. So I'm kind of waiting to see what that cell does. Instead of racing all the way over there, I am going to kind of let that come to me. And we also have pretty good line of storms to my northeast now that have just been severe but pretty linear. So that is the current situation. We have one good supercell over by Watertown, which appears to be the cell that is to be on, so we'll get on that one here shortly. All right, the storm near Watertown is tornado warned. I am 30 minutes out, maybe 20, heading straight west on 212. I have a hunch this is going to be a Gary, South Dakota tornado part 2 for me, where I'm going to show up just as it dissipates, assuming one is on the ground. All we can do is hope we can get there. Did a full send from the Twin Cities, 4 hours out to Watertown. Here we go. Almost exactly 1 month before, while I captured a tornado near Madison, Minnesota, little did I know that nearly every other person in South Dakota was watching the extremely photogenic, long-track Gary tornado. This felt all too familiar. As I was crossing the South Dakota border, here's my text exchange with Soda Storm Chaser, who was back at home. All I could do was keep pushing on and hope the storm cycled again out over open fields. The chase continues, barely. I started heading home. This is the exact same as the Gary chase from a month ago. I got an MCS blocking my entire way home. So this storm tightened back up on the back end of it. So there is some rotation out here. We do have a couple things lowering. I don't know if there are going to be much of anything. Got some nice sunset colors off in the corner there. I don't know what I'm doing, how this is ending. There's the storm. There, kind of the end of it. It is tornado warned yet. So I'm out of the rain. I'm just gonna kind of linger here. Maybe I'll drop south a little more to kind of keep an eye on this. Heavy rain. Heading up north there. I don't know, this is a mess of a chase if I'm being honest. I'm probably gonna give this a wrap if this even makes it to video. I'm not sure what there is to even put on a video. I did have a nice low wall cloud earlier. I was in great position if it dropped. It didn't, over an open field. So I'm gonna keep an eye on this. If this is it, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next Explore Everyday video. Alright, by just visually looking at the storm, I'm back. It does look like the storm is still rotating. I can see the edge right here is still spinning up that way, and the wind is all going this way. So there is still some rotation in here. Maybe a little wall cloud is trying to form. Kind of right up in here. Probably not. We're going to get some sunset colors. The rain's moving in. Got a car coming. We'll see what happens here. In the end, this chase was mostly a bust. It wasn't a bluebird bust, but I drove 4 hours each way and missed the only tornado. But I also never had South Dakota as a target. It just kind of evolved throughout the day. But really, no chase was ever really completely a bust. I did capture the dramatic, almost gothic looking sunset, like something out of a vampire novel. And I saw probably the most amazing lightning display of my life with the constant strobe light flashing. My 4-hour drive home was spent skirting through an MCS, and I was accompanied by spider lightning crawling across the sky the entire drive home. Thanks for watching.